remote? Oh, I just tossed it. My bad. I'm so country. What up? It's your girl, 𝒉𝒐𝒌, a.k.a. Melanated Dope. Come on in the room. Pull up on your girl. Hi, you guys. Long time no see, my niggas. Yeah, it's been... October came in and two-pieced the bitch. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, October came in and just really knocked me off my feet. First, my best friend passes. We're talking 30. I've been friends with that girl since kindergarten. Then I had an aunt pass. We weren't close. However, one of my cousins is on my stepfather's side. One of my cousins told me how she had been watching my spirit chats, and that just really brought me so much joy because I don't really be thinking none of them even be paying attention to the shit I post. And then to find out that my aunt, who was battling cancer, had been, you know what I'm saying, like her likes, you know how you be thinking somebody just see that you posting stuff and you just think they just liking it because it's you. That's how I was. But come to find out, like, my auntie was really fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I be trying to be on time. When I say 9:30, just know that anytime I post a time, it's a ish. You know what I'm saying? 9:30-ish. Like, maybe I might get here on time, but probably not. But anyway, yeah, y'all, like, and I just been really discombobulated because not only have I had these physical transitions, but I've had a lot of spiritual transitions. Okay. I'm recently single. Can't say that I didn't see it coming. I just didn't like how it happened. Okay. Here's a reminder to that person: till you do right by me, everything you touch shall crumble. Okay? Just in case you find your way on my YouTube page. Okay? I just want you to know. Then when you catching hell, it was me, bitch. It was me. I digress. Okay? But so, and I'm just saying all that to say, I just been going through a lot of things. So I just had to be like, oh, well, I had plans for Hoodoo Heritage Month and blah, blah, blah. But my peace of mind, my mental health, it come first. So I had to step back. However, she's being obedient. Okay? She's doing the work. So I'm feeling so much better. All right. So without further ado, because I don't want to be chit-chatting long, we're going to get into the finishing up of chapter 12. Now, y'all, we ain't got much left in this book. Y'all just baptized the book a little bit in tea. I'm going to have to buy me a new book when I see her. Because y'all know the author, 𝒍𝒐𝒗, will be in Atlanta, Georgia. And yes, I'm a resident of Georgia. But she'll be in Atlanta on October 25th. Okay? So, try my best to get there. Girl, I'm coming to see you. I'm going to cry if I don't make it. I'm like legit going to be crying if I don't get to go. Y'all, give me a second. I need to go put on some chapstick. I had grabbed it, and then I don't know what I did with it after I grabbed it. So, there it is. Because why am I sitting in front of y'all with a white mouth? Face shiny and moisturized, but the lips is a little white. Child. Do better, Arnita. Do better. So, yeah. Let's get into it. We are on chapter 12. We're in the middle of chapter 12. Or more so in the end, but it is entitled Healing Family Lines. This has been this the chapter. Because that's where I am right now. It's very hard to heal a family when you're the only one in the family that recognizes issues, and or not even the only one in the family that recognizes the issues, but the one who has faith to fix the shit. You know what I'm saying? So the one who has the faith in attempting to do the work. However, I can't fix everybody else's things. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their, you know what I'm saying? In the family, you're gonna find that even though you're in the same family, everybody's experiencing the same family differently. You know what I'm saying? And I've really had to come to grips with the fact that a lot of people, though unintentional, will gaslight the fuck out of me when I tell them how my childhood was. They'll say things like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad. That's not what they meant to do." I mean, even if it's not what you meant to do, would you listen to the victim when we say that these things were problems in our childhood? However, I digress. I'm saying all that to say that even if you can't get the rest of your family to get information, you got family standing behind you, them ancestors, okay, that are like, okay, we see we fucked up, let's do the work. And that's where I am, okay? I am doing the work spiritually. You cannot be concerned with other people. The only person that you could be concerned with is you, okay? So that's where we are. But let's get into it. Healing family lines, and we are Can My Ancestors Heal Trauma section. And I want to say that I meant to go back and see where exactly I stopped, but I feel like Can My Ancestors Heal Trauma is a better part to start at anyway. So we have approximately 12 or so pages left in this book. So let's get into it. And at the end of it is a nice little Be a Good Ancestor activity. So that'll be fun. All right, let's get into it. What up, Sensa? Y'all see. Oh, you know what? I meant to throw on. Well, this ain't gonna do. I meant to throw on the headphone for the Instagram people, and y'all can hear me better. But I'm gonna get something for the iPad next time. Did it work? Hold on now. I just heard it go dead in my ear, but y'all supposed to be fully charged. You know what? I'm not gonna fight with y'all today. Y'all be all right. So anyway, I hope you can hear me loud and clear, you guys. Let's get into it. Can my ancestors heal trauma? My relationship with my family is pretty standard. I have family members that I am closer to than others. There are family members I don't particularly care for but tolerate, and there are family members I absolutely adore. Like many people, I grew up in a house with divorced parents, an entire bonus family, and my fair share of childhood trauma. All these experiences inform what I've thought about my family and even how I relate to my ancestors. Like many children, I have some painful experiences in my childhood that were enacted through adults. The way that trauma works is sometimes we don't remember everything that happens to us, but we get triggered or have flashbacks of events that you don't even recall cognitively but feel. This was the case for me, except it was in my dreams. I would have regular disparaging dreams off and on for over 10 years. Once I developed a relationship with my ancestors through divination, I was able to ask them if these visions meant anything. Repeatedly through various self divinations, as well as consulting trusted practitioners of various religions, including Hoodoo, Ifa, and even Palo, all my spirits confirmed that my dreams pointed to a deeper trauma that I experienced. I questioned why my ancestors chose to continuously show me these visions. I even felt like I hated them for not protecting me. What was the point of them reminding me of a trauma that I thought I forgot? What was the reason for tormenting me in my dreams so I could relive such a sad time in my life? And what the hell was I supposed to do now? All great questions. Hold on. Let me see. Excuse me. Well, you may be surprised that this opened up the floodgates for more experiences within my childhood, my traumas, my experiences, and all the negative words that stayed with me that I hadn't let go of. It reminded me that I had some deep healing to do, and I was being encouraged to address my issues with this person directly, and I did. I believe that I wouldn't have remembered this trauma without my ancestors showing it to me in my dreams. It showed me that we never actually forget. I never forgot. I cannot go through my life not fully acknowledging this experience anymore. My psychic self recalled it, even if my conscious self did not. And my psychic body wanted to release that pain. My ancestors taught me that pushing things off and away is not healing. Pause. Earlier in the week, like maybe 4 or 5 days ago, a friend on Facebook had posted like how how do you deal with trauma? And one of the commenters, I had to go back because for whatever reason, somebody liked my comment, and I just went back and started reading some of the comments. And one of the commenters told her to suppress it. What? No, and I went ahead and commented and let them know that that is the worst thing that you can do. You cannot heal what you don't reveal, and suppressing it is like sweeping shit up under the rug, and eventually, bitch, you gonna trip over it. Okay, aka crash out, spaz out, lose your fucking mind. Why would you do that? Do not suppress, baby. Okay, you cannot heal what you don't reveal. Reveal that shit, heal that shit. All right. My ancestors taught me that pushing things off and away is not healing. Trust that they probably know more about that than us. Because how many older Black people do you know that are practicing vulnerability and honesty around emotions? And that was a very sarcastic question. Only my ancestors could have worked with me for over a year to gain the courage to confront my childhood issues. They encouraged me to get back into therapy, supported me through immense grief, and even held my anger and resentment toward them. I bawled at my altar at almost every sitting, and I even decided to ignore my ancestors for a couple of months because I was so angry over many things. Pause. I remember that episode because I'm telling y'all, reading the book is just following along her journey. And I remember that episode because I was like, I be like that too. Because sometimes you just gotta leave your ancestors on red. You gotta say, okay, I heard y'all, but I don't like that shit, so I'm not gonna communicate with y'all for a while. I just need my space. I need my time. And so I remember that. And that also helped me become more graceful, is that the word? It helped me give my ancestors more grace because they also gave me grace and room to process a lot of the emotions. Anyway, just throwing that in. Go check out her podcast, A Little Juju. Okay. So they encouraged me to get back into therapy. Blah, 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 blah. I bawled at my altar, and I even decided to ignore my ancestors for a couple of months because I was so angry over many things. Yet my confrontation with this person allowed me to lift a weight off my shoulders that I did not know was there. I took my power back. Okay, have y'all ever listened to? I can't think of her name. I want to say it's her name is Joy plus Soul or something like that. I can't think of it. But anyway, go on YouTube and look for Call My Power Back. And it is a young woman. It's like spoken word, but it is such a powerful affirmation and prayer. You gotta call your power back. You gotta take it back. Everything that was taken shall be restored. Okay? When you do the work. But only when you do the work. They won't restore what you ain't worked on. That's just how that goes. Okay? When I was having a conversation with a trusted friend and priestess within the Orisha community, she said that she believes therapy and practicing ancestral religion should go hand in hand. In many ways, she feels that it is even more important for people engaging with their ancestors more regularly to be enrolled in some kind of therapeutic practice that exists outside our regular rituals. She made an amazing point. People who choose to practice ancestral veneration are more likely to come into contact with their generational problems than the average person. Did you catch that T? People who practice ancestral veneration are going to more than likely come in contact with all of their generational traumas and issues because, again, you're revealing it. So then that now you need to heal it, okay? Go do the work. In this work, we are actually being shown things, being told things via divination, and being required to show up and end some of the toxic cycles that have been passed down to us. We are in constant conversation and reverence with spirits who had difficult experiences, and many of them are still trying to make sense of their lives and traumas. Hear me when I say that it is a lot. In addition to your elder, reader, or spiritual practitioner that you need support from, you will need help from someone to allow you to process all the new realizations and information that are coming up for you. If not for what up, Bria? If not for Levon Briggs and Juju, yeah, I would never went to therapy. Like I really was having a hard time unpacking and decolonizing, even though my baby sister had to go into therapy. You know what I'm saying? Even though my mother was a psychiatric Central State. If you from my town, when I say my mom worked at Central State Hospital for 20 years and still overlooked the mental health of her children. Okay, what is that telling you? What is that telling you when someone who has worked in the mental health field still ignores the mental health of their children? Okay, you know what I'm saying? But I give my mom grace because I understand, because in the Black community we don't talk about those things. You know what I'm saying? You be embarrassed, and that's why this shit is rampant in our community, because we don't talk about it. You can't heal what you don't reveal, y'all. Okay, I think I lost my place when I got to preaching. But I'm just saying. Many will incorrectly state that from a traditional standpoint, our ancestors turned to ritual and not therapy. And although that is true, we no longer live in indigenous time. Life, trauma, and pain are different. Okay, I just had to tell my dad the other day that I was like, Daddy, the where the world that we were brought up in no longer exists. The things that we were taught, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we've taken the things that we were taught for that time, but now we're having to evolve these skills. And then with that being said, y'all know hoodoo evolves as well. Now don't get out here and get all disrespectful and not listen to elders, but also, yeah, you gotta do some different things because we're in different times. Okay, we're in a whole nother ball game than our ancestors and elders were in. Shit is different. It's the same bullshit, but they're doing it differently. Okay, so you gotta step your game up, step your liberation, your protections up. Life trauma and pain are different. When our pre-colonial African ancestors venerated their ancestors, their problems were a lot different than our problems now. All societies throughout the ages have had their difficulties, but it could be argued that our current problems stem from not just one or two major issues, but myriad colonialisms, instabilities, acts of abuse, drug addictions, lack of natural resources like clean water or air, which I just said to my auntie, it seems like they will be taxing us for this clean air, barely clean air, okay, very soon. Issues that simply may not have been prevalent in an indigenous society. Some of these problems are new, so we need new ways to address them that include our veneration rituals, and also someone who can support us in carrying all that comes with not only us but our ancestors. Some Orisha communities have a saying: when you heal yourself, you are healing backward and forward 7 generations. This means that when we allow ourselves to truly acknowledge our stories, ask ourselves, and maybe others, the important questions, address our shame and traumas, feel it, let it move through our bodies, and let it fall from our shoulders, we are also allowing our ancestors to release those same traumas. Okay. I am not the first person in my lineage to experience violence. If you black, you damn sure not. Especially if you black. In fact, many of my ancestors and family members have also been survivors of it. As you may remember, the original dream that connected me to my ancestors was the witnessing of a brutal rape of an ancestral mother, which eventually killed her. The experiences of our ancestors do not magically disappear when they die. They can often transform into familial habits and dynamics that are harmful to offspring and other community members. Pause. Okay? Just a lot of the times people who have experienced familial violence like molestation and physical abuse, when they become parents themselves, they either become a predator and or they shelter their child a lot more so, what I'm saying, so much to the point where they thinking that if what I'm saying, if they are always up under them, then their kid will never experience these traumas. But then that brings on a whole nother trauma. You know what I'm saying? Child, we just be out here winging this shit. But yeah, that's how it becomes, a family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Also, the body keeps the score. And so if the body holds all of this memory from your actual life, guess what's in your DNA? Yes, the memories and of traumas that your ancestors that was committed towards your ancestors. So again, a lot of these things, these traumas and generational curses are be are passed down. There we go. You know what I'm saying? Because of things that happened to our ancestors. So yeah, so all this shit is just so hard. It's so much, but we can do this. We can do this. The experiences of our ancestors do not magically disappear when they die. They can often transform into familial habits and dynamics that are harmful to offspring and other community members. Some of these experiences travel through our DNA and end up affecting us in ways that no therapist can even reach because they exist on a soul level. Recurring problems that show up in bloodlines can also be less extreme. Attitudes as small as my mother never complained about being overworked, so I don't complain about being overworked, and I expect that my children do not complain when I overwork them, or how ancestral habits are passed down, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Boy, you bet. Boy, that hit my spirit right then. Boy, I want to cry because my grandmother, okay, my grandmama experienced trauma, maybe even some domestic violence. I don't know. I don't know. I remember my littlest sister telling me how she asked grandma about her childhood, and my grandma had blocked most of it out. And some would say that she forgot it because she's old, but nah, I am almost certainly sure that my grandma experienced some type of trauma as a childhood that took her to the man that would be my grandfather, okay, my mother's father, who then exacted some traumas and bullshit on her, you know what I'm saying? Which also had my grandma having certain, feelings towards certain things and just would not, you know what I'm saying? It is almost like my grandma could not wrap her mind around something being different than, you know what I'm saying, how she was raised. Okay? I'm just saying. Passed down. My mother was abused. My grandmother experienced abuse, which then passed down to my mom. Okay. Like one thing, my mom was a cheerleader, and I remember somebody telling me that my grandmother was like really on her, like trying to make it seem like she was trying to be fast, but ain't no young lady faster than the grown ass man that be after her. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyway, so with all that being said, my mom was super overprotective of me as a kid, you know what I'm saying, but also did not have certain conversations with me, okay, that one should have with their daughter, okay? And everything that I did not learn from my mother, I had to learn other places. You know what I'm saying? However, I broke that generational curse. I said, this will not happen with my daughter. I'm going to have the uncomfortable conversations, okay? And you can too. You can too, baby. If I did it, you can too. Oh, 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 oh. But also, and when talking about being overworked, my mom transitioned from her second aneurysm, and after that, whew, after March 7th of 2017, I just said I will not slave for the dollar. I will not overwork I won't stress about the dollar. You understand me? Money flow to me in exceedingly abundant ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I don't see the commas in my bank account right now, I know that they're pending. You get me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to find ways to reduce your stress. Because this world isn't capitalism, okay? It's not. And we all have, oh, which reminds me, I need to make some phone calls, so I might have to cut this short, but probably at 11. But we're going to finish chapter 12, though. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, I broke that generational curse of overworking, of not saying, hey, I need help. My mom didn't ask for help until the ninth hour. Like, it would be too late. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Terry. It's so good to see you. So good to see you. We should talk very soon. Um, but yeah, so you know, I live a life of ease. Yes, I work, you know what I'm saying, here and there. I haven't had a job, but I do my spiritual things. Um, but all in all, you know what I'm saying, like, know when know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to just say no. No is a complete sentence, and sometimes it's the only sentence you need to give people. Cause fuck them. Oh yeah, Terry, like, girl, yeah, I will inbox you my number. I'm gonna remember to inbox you my number. Okay. Getting back, we're reading this book, The Book of Juju by 𝒍𝒐𝒗. I'm on chapter 12, and we're talking about healing family lines. All right. So, getting back to it. When we begin to understand this dynamic, and that is how generational traumas are passed down in the DNA and genetically, okay? So when we begin to understand this dynamic, we can ask ourselves where this idea of overworking came from. Is it that my caregiver never needed rest, or was there something bigger than her, such as capitalism, that deeply impacted the ancestral and generational habits and traumas that my family has held on to? Asking these questions and then taking additional action can help heal those 7 generations back that may not have had the opportunity to take a break, rest, or even ponder the idea. When you acknowledge your shit, know that it's probably not just yours, but that you have an ancestor who has been there, done that, and probably passed it down to you. Because let's just be real, our mothers and mothers were all very hardworking women. You cannot be a black woman in America. You can't be a black woman in this world and not work hard in some shape, form, or fashion. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the life that we live. Like, this shit is hard work. Shout out to my homegirl Bree, who just had me do a survey for her. She's in college. Shout out to that. But she's in college, and she had this. She's doing this paper or something on aging and stress in Black women. Baby, are you? Baby, let's have a long conversation because I have stories to tell. Okay. Come on back, Instagram. There we go. Hey, y'all. Okay. So when you acknowledge your shit, know that it's probably not just yours. We read that. But that you have an ancestor who has been there, done that, and probably passed it down to you. In addition to our generational traumas, we also can have generational joys. Okay? Our people did not just leave us full of bad habits, choices, and traumas, but an array of gifts, aptitudes, and blessings that benefit us too. I may have had a family who never spoke about their problems, but boy, are they amazing musicians, singers, dancers, and writers. The gifts of song and music are healing tools that I'm able to use to help address some of those generational traumas. Okay? Y'all see that behind me? I've been playing solfeggio frequencies, gospel music all morning. Right now it's on 741. That's the hertz, and it says remove toxin. So yeah, because all of that works hand in hand to your healing. So writing music, dancing, and musical theater have always been safe spaces for me to process and escape to a world full of happiness and joy that I found through song. I'm grateful for my propensity for the arts and also recognize that many in my family were choir directors, hand dancers, and bandmates. Apparently, I've got some relation to the pianist and composer 𝒉𝒂𝒃 Blake. So you see how the music loving runs deep. I don't know who 𝒉𝒂𝒃 Blake is. I'm gonna have to look them up. Remember that your ancestors left you with more than generational traumas. I love dancing in front of my altar or playing music that I think they would have liked. Saying, ancestors, dance with me, let's celebrate my promotion, or asking, can my ancestors who were songwriters give me some inspiration for a new song, are ways to bring the wisdom of the past into our lives. All right. How can I talk to ancestors without knowing them? As mentioned before, I know that some folks do not have deep connections to their blood families. It may seem difficult to seek connections with people that you've never met or aren't closely connected to, such as through adoption. But I think that people who are not closely connected to their blood families can still find ways to connect to them. Knowing names is not necessary. Heirlooms are not necessary, nor are photos. You can still pray and simply say, to my honorable ancestors who love me, and begin your thanks and gratitude. You can also say, ancestors, I don't know, but I'd like to know. Please show me how we can grow closer. That's If you're not interested in any of this, then don't do it. If you have people that you consider ancestors who are not related to you by blood, they still matter. Okay, shout out to my big brother Scoop. Okay, he is not related to me by blood, but that could not make us any less thicker. Okay, he is always present and walking with me. Shout out to my good sis Nikki. Now she is still transitioning, but once she goes through her transition, she's on my altar too. Okay. Yes, those are my family members. Those of you who were adopted by others can still be impacted deeply by departed adoptive relatives and family members. I have a loved one who is quite a powerful dreamer, constantly dreaming of ancestors and spirits talking to her. She is also adopted, and these dreams are pretty much exclusively of her adoptive family. These dreams range from loving embraces and pride from the grandmother that raised her to sometimes difficult dreams of her adoptive mother who did not care for her properly. This happens because these spirits are deeply intertwined in my friend's life, although they are not her blood relatives. In fact, some rituals needed to be completed so that her adoptive mother could rest easily and not keep showing up and giving my friend bad dreams. Although blood ancestors often do come through to us, sometimes our access to them may be limited because of whatever experiences they had during human life. It's also important to note that spirits often adopt us and show up as our ancestors when they may not even be our relatives. I've said something like, you have a woman who is showing up as ancestor who says XYZ, and my client says, I can't think of an ancestor who seems like that, but it sounds like my old neighbor who used to babysit me. After further questioning, I realized that this babysitter has joined the ancestral court of my client. Maybe there is some relation between the babysitter and my client that they don't know. Everybody does seem like they're cousins in some way these days, but as far as we know, this babysitter had no obvious familial relationship, yet loves, cherishes, and protects this person as if she were her own. just as she did in life. Some people may consider the former babysitter a spirit guide, yet she was very much placed with the client's ancestors and had quite a bit to say to her baby. How can I learn more about my ancestors? One of the easiest ways that we can honor our ancestors and familial spirits is to share stories about them. If you can, ask people in your family about what Uncle so and so was like, or maybe ask your caregivers how they were raised. Hearing and understanding these stories can help create bonds and trigger forgotten memories within a family. Often, as people engage with ancestral spirituality, they want to talk to their families about whether anyone was a witch or practiced juju, but this may not be the best way to go about things. Simply ask general questions about the deceased lives and personalities. Ask to hear stories about certain people that may interest you, and use those stories to then connect with your ancestors. They love when we remember them, and you can share some of those fond stories and memories with others as you learn them. This is a simple way to call on your ancestors' energy that is still very present. Hearing their names, hearing their names helps wake them up and get their attention. Okay, you got to unbury your dead. Mhm. If you don't have anyone to ask, you can always look up stories about people living in certain time frames in certain cities and among certain identities. For example, nobody who is living now knows any stories about any of my ancestors in Trinidad. On the surface, that history is completely lost, as my family members who were of that lineage all passed away when I was very young. However, I can look up the lives of Trinidadian people in the early 1900s, and I can see that parts of Africa, and I can see what parts of Africa they may have descended from, and what was happening politically, culturally, and socially in Trinidad during that time. I can also research why there was an influx of Caribbean people taken to Virginia in the early 1900s. Historical research can help me find connections to my ancestors, even if I do not have any names or personal stories to go off. I find that researching enslavement, migration, certain cities and towns, and even day to day living helps me piece together my own stories of my people. Remember the concept of the ancestral eye. That's a big piece of what guides my information seeking when I feel disconnected from my ancestors or don't have a lot of information to work from. Okay. DNA tests. Ancestral DNA tests. However, let me before I go down this paragraph, make sure you do your research of whoever you choose because something is going on. You know what I'm saying? I remember they said that the 23andMe CEOs all quit. So okay, take that into good consideration. Ancestral DNA tests have been another method that has helped me gain a more specific idea of my own ancestry and even connect with others who have similar DNA as mine through the sharing feature employed by certain companies. Of course, there is a lot of conversation and concern around the use of DNA materials. Is it safe? And is it worth the process of sharing such personal information? I think this is a decision that you have to make on your own. Do your research to choose a specific company and gain an understanding of their practices in order to safely move forward. There are tons of ancestry tests these days, and they all operate a little differently. So there is an array of choices available. That said, I've been able to garner a lot of great information from ancestral DNA tests that have connected me to cousins I would not have ever known otherwise. Even if you are not comfortable using your DNA for ancestral findings, some diviners use a method in divination to help you connect to your ancestors and ancestral homelands using the power of spirit. No spit required. Regardless of whether you choose a divinatory method, DNA methods, or both, your attempts are not in vain, and your spirits will be sure that you got some clear. I'm sorry, I might have flashed out my bad. Y'all can't see it. Uh, some clear answers over time. You'll get some clear answers over time. Whether you are connected to specific tribal identities does not dictate the power or strength of your ancestry or lineage. However, if you are, hold on, wait a minute, let me reread that. Whether you are connected to specific tribal identities does not dictate the power or strength of your ancestry or lineage. However, if you are from Baltimore and so was your family as far as you know, then start in Baltimore. There is medicine and ancestral connection for you in your hometown. A beautiful writer friend of mine, Hess Love. Okay, shout out to Hess. Oh no, please don't. Please don't. I got a little bit more tea right there. It's tearing. Hess Love, a beautiful writer friend of mine, Hess Love, has shared her musings on this, which I believe are important to include here. Love writes, oh, connecting with ancestors you didn't know. Okay, she got a little activity in between, but we're going to keep reading. We'll go back to that. Once I finish with the chapters, we'll do the activities. So it says, Love writes on ancestral connection, the Great Migration included people moving from rural parts of the state to urban and suburban neighborhoods. Sometimes the connection you've been looking for is a 2-hour drive away. Flying to Lagos or Montgomery ain't gonna help you when your people are from Cambridge, Maryland. This quote beautifully articulates the innate desire we may have to look for our ancestors outside our immediate locales. However, often what we are seeking is a lot closer to home than we think. Understanding the breadth and expansiveness of our ancestors is important, and acknowledging the many lands and waters they may have crossed can address some of our queries and connections. But remember that there is still an overflow of ancestral connection on the very land where you stand. The DNA test will always be there to provide additional information if and when you'd like, but your indigenous tribal ancestors are equally as important as your granny from Chicago. How can I be a better descendant? One of the most pivotal changes in how I venerate ancestors is my current focus on the importance of legacy. Often, when people think of legacy, they consider the lives of their children and future children. Striving to be a good parent and possibly grandparent is a crucial aspect in forming a world that is safer, more loving, and desirable. I think the things we decide to do for and with our children are great examples of leaving a legacy and prioritizing their care and leaving a legacy and prioritizing their care is such a huge responsibility that requires a lot of time, attention, and dedication. Although I am not a parent yet, my ancestors helped me to formulate ideas that I believe will be necessary to share with my children because they are sometimes still contending with choices that have negatively impacted my family. Children are beautiful legacies to leave as an extension of our spirits on earth. But having a child is not the only way to think about the power of legacy building. When you engage with spirits and people who have passed on, they are constantly in conversation about the impact of their actions on others. It's not uncommon to get a few. I'm sorry for that, answers in divination, because after they pass, our ancestors acquire a better understanding of their actions made while on earth. To be a part of and partially witness this transformation in death, we are confronted with the true meaning of our legacies. Simply put, we realize that we will one day need to be a good ancestor. This does not mean that we are constantly preparing for our death, but it is a realization that ultimately we will be in the position of the death process, which many say includes reconciling with the choices that we made in life. In the end, I imagine that you'll hope to have been a good steward of the land, of the spirit, and to others. Our legacies often fuel our abilities to be revered spirits that are honored for our deeds and what we left behind. What we leave behind could be the memories of always being the one to crack a joke, or the one who would offer to cook for everyone and invite people over. Maybe a piece of your legacy is always hooking up someone to get a new job, or mentorship, or taking care of the family land. A piece of my legacy will be this book. Whatever legacy you carry, it is with hope that you can be a good ancestor, able to sit back and feel not just individually but communally accomplished, with a name that could never be forgotten because of the effect you had on the world around you. That doesn't have to be anything huge, like having 6 children or passing down 15 acres of land. Know that legacy is all encompassing, and that it's about adding value to the spaces that you're in. Understanding this, as well as the importance of legacy in Africana spiritual systems, gives me room to align my daily decision making with something that I'm proud of. I'm regularly thinking, how does this affect me today? How could this affect me in 5 years? Or does participating in this thing make me feel proud of myself? Or how do I want to be remembered? Questions like these help us connect with our future selves, creating legacy blueprints to work from. So what our stories are ultimately both comprehensive, so that our stories are ultimately both comprehensive and positive. And that is the end of chapter 12. However, we're going to go back to the activities in this chapter. And so the first activity, okay, and it's just 10:22, so we're gonna see. I may not go ahead and start chapter 13. How many chapters in the book, y'all? We almost done. Oh my god. Oh, but I can't wait to get into the rest of these, because it's rituals. We're gonna do some rituals, okay? I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna make sure I go get all the stuff we're gonna need, and we're gonna do these rituals in real time so that you guys can see. Okay. But also, I just want to remind y'all, if I'm showing y'all how to do it, okay, because it do be some haters on my page, okay. However, just know, if I'm showing y'all how to do it, that's not the work that I'm actually going to work. Because people be hating, and people say evil eye to your shit. So, don't post your work. I hate when people do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't post your work. Oh, hold on. I just wanted to go ahead and finish that tea. All right, so we're going to get into the activity. Connecting with ancestors I didn't know. You didn't know. Okay? That's that one. And then what's the other one? Be a good ancestor activity. Okay. Oh, Arnita, when did I take the top off? Oh my God. Y'all, I just be fucking up. Hold on. Let me go get some paper towels. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Making messes. It's moon day. Okay. And a full moon is coming. So please make sure that you are hydrated. Okay. But make sure you hydrated, period. But especially during the full moon. I am a full moon blood witch. If you know what that means, then you know. And when that happens, I have to stay hydrated. Okay. When it's that cycle, child, I have to stay hydrated. All right. Let's get into the activity. Hello to anyone who has joined. Thank you guys for coming in. All right. So it says connecting with ancestors you didn't know. Use this activity to imagine the faces of ancestors you may not have been connected with. This can be used by people who do not know any of their blood relatives or perhaps only a few and want to connect with other deceased human spirits of their lineages. Excuse me. Do you know some ancestors personally? If not, that's okay. Think of your own face. Think about some of your features. Is your bottom lip very full? Are your legs hairy? Is your hair thicker in the middle or are your eyelids naturally dark? Consider many of your features. Then imagine someone with similar features. Imagine a man with thick leg hair like yours or a person who was short like you. Now consider your personality. Are you typically anxious or calm? Do you have any special tics or ways that you communicate that make you unique? What are some of your quirks? And what random things make you so excited? Sit with some of those quirks and then go here. Imagine someone else with a nose like yours, or who used to blink excessively while speaking. Whatever traits you'd like to focus on. Now think of that person's parents. What might they have looked like? What kind of experience might they have had? How do you think they may have been raised? And what person could have informed their traits? Imagine their grandparents and now their grandparents' parents. Go back as far as you can while still feeling connected and close. If you can only imagine back one or two generations, that's fine. Now that you have some faces in your mind, including some that mirror your personality, say hello. Introduce yourself to these different faces. Say your name and state your intention of giving faces to those you may not have met in the physical realm, but who know you in spirit. Speak that you'd like to call on all your honorable ancestors and give them permission to make themselves known in your life through whatever method you are comfortable with signs, dreams, smells, thoughts, etc. Continue this practice when you have quiet time and you want to connect deeper with your ancestors. This allows you to give faces and experiences to people that you may feel you made up, but who are really showing themselves to you in your mind's eye. That is such a beautiful activity. I love that. And I want to also throw in, I think you should write this down when you're doing it. So yeah, the activity I just read was connecting with ancestors you didn't know. Oh, let me highlight 53 minutes. Okay, so I can go back and snip this, and so I can just make it into a reel so you'll have it. Or I also could take a picture of the activity and post it. I'll do both. Okay, I'll do both. So this activity, be a good ancestor activity. This activity will help you think about your future goals. Okay, so we just did an activity that focused on revealing past ancestors. Now, this one will make sure you are creating a legacy for the future. I love this. So, this activity will help you think about your future goals and plans as they pertain to being a good ancestor. A good ancestor is one who lived a fulfilling life and made a palpable impact in the lives of the self and others. Think through some of these questions as a way to tap into your ancestral self. What do you hope to be your legacy? What would you like to be remembered for? If you were to look at a video mapping your entire life to this point, how would you feel about your decisions? Hey, Empress, how are you, boo? Boy, I feel like I made a lot of really bad decisions in my life, however, working through all the things, right? What is one thing that you're most proud of about yourself? In what ways could you be better about planning for your legacies? How will you go about doing that? What habit, tradition, or vice do you hope dies with you? Got a few. Thank you for stopping by, beautiful. I pray that your day is abundantly blessed, honey. Happy full moon in Pisces. Okay, we're in the energy of that. It peaks tomorrow, but we already here, honey. Okay. Thanks for pulling up, boo. What habit, tradition, or vice do you hope dies with you? Meaning, what must go when you go? Think small, like personal choices, ending the cycle of abuse in your family, or big, like helping address pollution in the world. How have you contributed to ending that thing, if at all? How might you? Okay. So yeah, so that was the Be a Good Ancestor activity, and then connecting with ancestors. So that ancestors you didn't know. So that completes the Healing Family Lines chapter 12, and it's 10:30. Do I want to get into chapter 13? Do we want to start on chapter 13? Let's go ahead. Cuz chapter 13, no, you know what? Maybe not. I just thought about it. I For the rest of the book, I'm gonna, because I told y'all I haven't read the book. I've been reading the book along with y'all. I'm just sitting in my car at the park. I'm waiting for therapy to start at 9:55. I don't know how long you plan to be on. Not much longer, because I got some things to do. Okay. I was just finished. I hadn't been live like at all reading this month, because I've just been going through things, child. Okay, I was just going to tell you, God, I've been going through some things. You hear me? I just been going through some things. But real quick, I'll stay live on Instagram. I'm gonna go ahead and end YouTube. Thank you guys so much for pulling up on me. Um, YouTube and Facebook. If you need me, DM inbox is open. The books are open, and get at me if you need me. I love y'all, and I will see y'all Wednesday, and we will get into the good old ritual for chapter 13. And so I will tomorrow. I will probably, yeah, cause yeah. Tomorrow, um, I'll write down. Yeah, let me make a lesson plan, and I'm gonna get back to y'all. So turn them notifications on so you can see what I got going on. All right, I love y'all. Peace.